sound of redemption. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. Igniting the fire within you. Exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shout it loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
It's a joke.
punk ass. Wait, Vincent. The way you used to say it in school, when we were in school, he said, sit your punk ass down. sit your punk. You know. Anyway, with a slight tilt of the head, with a slight squinting of the eyes, you firm up the bottom lip, And I had to do that yesterday, man. Somebody cut me off on. Like, can I say something? Well, firstly, happy Friday, TGI Friday. I don't care that it's raining outside. It is Friday and it is fall, right? So, welcome everybody. Vincent, I literally got yesterday was a weird day, all the way around. From the moment I got up and went into the bakery, I just something said, Eric, just stay in bed, just don't even get up. And everything that occurred yesterday was just compounded the other thing, and it just gave reason why I should have just stayed in bed. But I almost I did get cut off. Almost got into a pretty bad accident on Central Avenue in East Orange yesterday. And then I say to the guy, pull up at the light, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? And literally, it was, and I'm not saying that homosexuals drive funny, so crazy. That's not what, but I'm bringing up the fact that he was a homosexual, and he had looked like a Cuban guy. He was a black male, homosexual driving, and the guy in the passenger seat looked Cuban, and the driver just went from 0 to 500 miles an hour on me. Like as soon as I opened my mouth, like we got to the red light. After he cut me off, we proceeded east on Central Avenue. We got to a red light, and so I rolled my window down. And I'm like, "Yo, man, what's going on?" And literally, he went from 0 to 500, and was just animated. And then the Cuban dude just kind of looked over at me like, "Yo, dude, why'd you even do that?" This guy just went. He was going on and on and on, and I'm saying to him as he's screaming, right? And he was overtly feminine in his gesturing and such, right? So he's just going, and people who are crossing the crosswalk in front of us are stopping and they're looking at this. He's yelling at the top of his lungs in his car. And I'm trying to say to him, not only did you cut me off, but literally you almost hit a woman who was crossing the street with a stroller and a toddler, right? And he just kept going and going and going and going and going. But look, man, I went for almost 2 years without driving. And many say I shouldn't drive now with my neuropathy. But I rolled the dice.
You shouldn't drive now because you're the king of road rage.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting there, Vincent. I'm getting back to my road rage, man. But people are inconsiderate. They take your life in their hands. And I just don't appreciate it. I value my life, right? And so when you do something foolish and you potentially risk my life, and I am now required to be an incredible defensive driver simply to save my life, because you decided to be selfish and foolish, I got a problem with you, right? So, that's just kind of what it is. So I gave him one of those looks, but I didn't want any parts of this dude, man, because he was just screaming and yelling. I mean, not that I could have, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I could have beat the brakes off him, but it wasn't even about that. It was just he just, his mouth was, his gesturing, it was more than I was willing to try to handle, right? But anyway. Welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about. I contemplated again not doing a show today because I'm exhausted. I got to go up to Sloan, get another shot of B12. And
Okay.
yeah, and they
Look, man, why don't you just get the IV version and just, keep
just
it on
walk
that?
around with the
Yeah.
just right, take it main line to the main vein.
Mhm.
Yeah. So but I asked them. I said, you guys should have given it to me on Thursday so that I could be good to go on Friday. But I'll be good to go on Saturday. So that'll be a good thing. Um.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just brought on the queen of streaming media, Diana Murray Clemens, is on the line. Welcome, Diane.
Good morning. How are you? It's
Oh, too much
Friday.
energy. Wait. Too
Yay!
just way,
God.
way
What you
too,
say, Eric? I got too much energy.
way too much energy.
Yo, I worked out this morning with my trainer. I am pumped.
Uh-oh.
Uh
I could knock a you know what out this morning. I'm good. I'm good.
oh.
That's
Wow.
I'm
what I'm
out and
talking about.
about. Out and about. So, how was your energy level? Because I done cooked dinner this morning. I done did a whole lot.
What did you make for dinner?
Hey, can I get your trainer number so he can come visit my wife?
Steak chicken. No, I will not do that to her. And how dare you think that she should have a personal trainer?
Well,
The
she had a
nerve of
personal
you.
trainer. She got rid of her.
Oh, the nerve of you. If she wants a personal trainer, you tell her to text me or call me personally, and I will help her out.
She on her third personal trainer.
Well, this one she can't. She may want to quit her, but she ain't gonna want to quit.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
She's hardcore. She don't mess around.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. I love it.
So,
So,
what's on the docket, Eric?
man, well, so Trump's got COVID-19, right? He got the corona.
I don't believe it. He ain't got it.
It's fake news.
Fake news. He ain't got it. Fake news.
Trump got the virus. He got it. He got.
First and foremost, I wish him and his wife well. I wish they recover from it well. And all I have to say is God has a sense of humor.
Trump got the funk. He got it. He's got the funk.
It.
Yeah.
Mm.
Melania's got the funk. She's got it. She's got.
And I look for the tweets for all of those, you don't need to wear a mask people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing. Every last one of them idiots who have been haunting my Facebook and tweets have now said nothing.
Wow.
And then he did a rally in Wisconsin with thousands of people. I mean, he is America's biggest super spreader.
So Diane, why don't you think he has why don't you think he's got COVID?
I think. Oh wait, am I muted? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Wait a minute, am I muted now?
No. Are you trying to be muted?
I'm trying to figure out am I on or off. But anyway, he's faking because he's trying to get attention. This is all a political thing.
But why would he? Wait.
Why else? Because why else would he let it come out?
But wait. Well, he can't. Like he's the president of the United States, right? If the doc. No, it does. If the president, if the doctor checks him and he's got something, they've got to report it. So, but here's the here.
No, they don't.
Sure, they do.
HIPAA law says health confidentiality. He got them all wrapped around his finger. They don't have to report anything. They all scared of him.
No, they have to report it. But here's the question that I want to ask you. What does he gain? So here's a guy who said he didn't want to wear a mask. Here's a guy who has these big rallies. When he was last interviewed and asked about having these big rallies and being concerned about transmitting COVID or contracting COVID, he talked about safe distancing with 50,000 people in a stadium. I don't know how you do that, but he talked about safe distancing and all that stuff. And so for him to come out and say, yeah, I got COVID-19 and my wife has COVID-19. And so now if you start to, what do you call it, contact trace all of the people that he may have come in contact with without his mask on, and Melania without her mask on, because they're not real mask wearing people. I mean, it could be devastating, right? Especially if they're driving this narrative that he underplayed it, and all these other kinds of things. How does that benefit him?
So the benefit is he's going to suddenly recover, and his recovery is going to be whatever pharmaceutical company he's going to be able to push to make some money. It's a ploy. I don't believe him.
Well, see, I'm listening. I see what Jody.
This morning,
No.
I'm gonna tell you. This morning, they talked about how the stock markets are now going to be starting to plummet because of this and him getting COVID. I'm telling you, it's a ploy. Don't believe him.
All he has to do is just take oxychloroquine.
Well, that's what he's going to say. Watch and see. Watch and see.
So I don't think it doesn't make sense to me. So Jody says patriotism. He wants people to rally around, but the people, his base are the ones who don't wear masks, right?
Yeah.
His base are the ones who were saying that it was all a conspiracy, right? His base are some of the ones who were saying that, we need to be looking into herd mentality.
Not herd immunity.
Get with the herd mentality. And so because of herd immunity, because these folks, wanted things open, right? They went to their Capitol buildings, with guns, right? In some cases, saying, we don't want you to shut the government down. This is all, overblown. And so now Donald Trump gets it. If he had an opportunity to say he didn't have it, I think he would have kept it a secret. I don't think he would have revealed that. I think it gives people an opportunity to say, "See, I told you so." And you said, "See," because if I were messaging now, right? Like, let's say, and by the way, I got a friend of mine who's doing a lot of the political stuff for Biden and some of these other people. Like a lot of attack ad stuff, not attacking Biden, attacking Trump, or working with Democrats, attacking the folks that these Democrats are running against. But if I were on that side, working with Biden's people, I would be hammering the fact that Donald Trump said this thing would be over.
Biden's on the wrong page.
Right? And if Donald Trump, yeah, he's not on any page.
But if I say it, people get mad. I don't know. But I don't believe him. I believe that this is another hoax for him to get attention. And we'll see what comes out of it, because usually he does grandiose things to get attention. So we'll see.
Well, dying would be a good way. But also, looking at his base who don't wear masks and go to his rallies, they'll all be sick by the November election and can't vote. So it's over. They'll all have COVID-19. Yeah.
Hey, Eric, have you seen, there's a young lady in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. She's running against Kwame, I can't think of his name, for the Congress seat.
Right.
Have you seen her video? Commercial?
Is it hot?
Did I send it to? Oh my God! It was the best. She's a Republican, young black girl. I'm telling you, it was the best commercial I've seen in a long time. Her commercial starts off with her talking about, and Google it, Vincent. So because I'm driving, so I can't give you her name. She talks on. She starts the commercial by walking down the street, talking about "Walk with Me," as she walks through the dilapidated community of Baltimore.
Oh, wait. But this is wait a minute, right? People got caught in their feelings when folks were talking, well, Donald Trump in particular, right, was talking about Baltimore and how
it was whatever he said about it.
How filthy it was.
Yep.
Right? Well, it's filthy. It is filthy.
She walked down streets that
were abandoned. Multiple streets abandoned, where houses, boarded up, no people living at all. Or down streets where most of the houses were boarded up, and one or two people were still living on the block.
Wow.
You gotta see it.
But you know
I
what,
think it's
Diane?
probably 3 minutes. It was a really good commercial.
Well, but you know what? Unfortunately, black folk are so numb to, living conditions like that. That I don't think that she was speaking to people who were going to be moved by it.
I think the problem with black people is we get caught up in Democrat, Republican,
Yeah.
and we don't see black people first.
Well,
Instead of instead of what we should be doing is thinking black first.
Well, we've been conditioned not to, right? So, what are you saying, Vincent?
Key West Mfumi defeats Kim Kilak in the special general election, U.S. Merit House District 7. He did that, so he's running up against a young lady from the House, Kimberly, I don't want to mess up her name, K-L-A-C-I-K, Kalik?
K-L-A?
A-C-I-K.
Yep, that's her.
Yes. And she is gaining points because she is taking a pro-black stance. Where the Democrat, what was his name? Key West, Kwesi Mfumi.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Kwasi Mfumi.
He's the
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's the one who took over John Lewis. Was it John Lewis' seat, right?
No, Elijah Cummings.
Elijah Cummings after his death. After his wife was fighting for the seat. Do you see the craziness in this?
Right, but Elijah Cummings sat over that district, and Donald Trump talked about it, right? And people just didn't like the fact that Donald Trump talked about it. And then,
that what you said, Diane, is part of what I found my research yesterday.
What?
Trump is leading of all presidents for the black vote.
Say that again?
Trump is leading for the black vote.
No, among
all presidents in the United States.
Among black men.
Amongst black men.
Right. So Trump.
And there's a reason why.
What's the
Can we
reason?
dive into that?
What's the reason why?
Well, this poll was taken by a black poll firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the president of the firm, and him and I both shared our shock. And then we dove into why. First and foremost, black people in general. Well, let's talk about black people in general. The polls and the answers that they got were that black people were not voting Republican, but voting or punishing the Democrats,
Mm-hmm.
the do-nothing Democrats who've been there in these seats for years
Mm-hmm.
and wanted change. And they thought that Donald Trump brought that change in. The second thing is that he's only leading in men, especially. He's got the highest spike in men from 18 to 25. And he's got the highest spike in black men uneducated. So I asked him, what did he find out about those specific groups and why is he leading? This is why Donald Trump is leading. First and foremost, they have drunk the Trump Kool-Aid. They believe the propaganda. The biggest thing that they said about Donald Trump is that, well, he letting black people out of jail, which is false. He only pardoned one person, and that was the woman who was convicted of drugs. And that was spearheaded and pushed on him by Kanye and Kim West.
Well, what about the legislation he signed?
The legislation that he's done, well, let's look at the truth. The legislation he had passed was veto-proof under the Obama administration that sat on the desk of Mitch McConnell, along with somewhere close to 14,000 other bills
Mm-hmm.
that support and change the effects and the quality of life for black people. All of those are still sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. and it's backed by Lindsey Graham to stop it. So all the progressions that Obama had made. Oh, and another thing that they found in the survey, guess who was the highest president in decreasing black poverty?
We're waiting.
Barack Obama. Barack Obama put in executive orders bills in motion that increased the highest. Now, the other thing in drinking the Kool-Aid is that they found that they did not know that Trump had actually, they said that Trump is letting black people out of jail. No, Trump had actually defunded the First Step Act by Barack Obama, which gives early parole pardons, gives government aid and assistance for people coming out of prison, and taking away or removing the barrier of housing that they could not get. You're looking at 73% of the prisoners are in there for drug use or drug sales, which qualifies as non-violent criminals. And the First Step Act gave them an opportunity to get jobs. They gave tax write-offs and tax breaks to companies that hired them. They gave tax breaks and gave money to companies that trained them. And they gave tax breaks and tax write-offs to training schools that would get them into the trade industry, primarily HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. And Trump defunded that as well. So they've all been drinking the black Kool-Aid. But here is the key to Trump's success in those demographics, is that they all are advocates in terms of getting their information off of social media, supported by the Russian propaganda. So they all believe that Trump is the best thing that ever happened to black people. All of it is fake news that they believe, and they are voting for him because of the fake news. They do not do their research. They do not look deep. They look at the headlines and they believe it all to be true.
Well, what fake news are they saying? Because I like to know what these titles are saying on these articles.
Yeah, I gotta. So Vincent caught us off guard on this, right? So I haven't had a chance to look at that survey or to look at the tabs within it, or the poll rather. But I'm gonna look at it this weekend, and then Monday I'll be able to weigh in a little more intelligently about it. But what I will say is this. See, black folks are drinking somebody's Kool-Aid always, right? So
Especially the red.
right. So they're drinking red. So they're drinking red Kool-Aid or blue Kool-Aid, but they're drinking Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And so now, don't be mad because they're drinking red Kool-Aid. You want them to drink the blue Kool-Aid, Trump got them thirsty for the red Kool-Aid, man. And, but look, I told you, and I'm going to say it again. I believe that Trump is going to win because, by and large, the same, if not more, black folks who didn't see anything to vote for are not going to vote. Now, people have told them what to vote against. But if you look historically at elections, you have high turnout when people are optimistic, when they have something to vote for, not against. And I think this notion of stopping Trump, getting him out of office, I think that they should have, looked at some, poli-sci 101 textbooks, and they would have realized that you got to give people something to vote for. And I put this in my thread the other day. I said, somebody said something about Donald Trump playing to his base and Biden's not playing to his base. And I said, Biden doesn't have a base. He doesn't. He borrows.
He does have a base.
No, he doesn't. He's borrowing from everybody else's base. He's saying He's saying to Elizabeth Warren, can I borrow your base? He's saying to AOC, can I borrow your base? He's saying to Bernie Sanders, can I borrow your base? He went down to Fish Fry Clyburn, can I borrow your base? But he doesn't have a base. You take all of those people away, take them all away, and oxygen gets sucked out of that room when it comes to Joe Biden.
Well, at that part, there is a level of truth in what you're saying. Joe Biden's base has been a amorphous or emergence of a lot of base, and all of those people are true, plus a lot more. Now, the whole thing is that Joe Biden had a strong base as a senator. When he became vice president, his base widened. His base widened because Joe did two things. One, he did the economic reconstruction, which he gave a lot of political support to a lot of these senators who brought the money back to their states. And when we were going through the actual George Herbert Walker Bush recession, his economic stimulus helped a lot of senators get reelected because they were bringing that money home. So he has that support. The other support that he had in his emergence was, one, Elizabeth Warren and her platform did a lot. And what he did was, in getting her on board, was taking her actual platform, merging it with his, making some subtle changes to it to improve it. The same thing with Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders' biggest thing was the corporate tax, or corporate should pay their fair share. Now, a lot of politicians, for them, it would be death because these large corporations were the ones funding their campaign. And they adopted that part that said as the tax increase, which would be about a 2% tax increase for the wealthy. 2%.
So what you're saying is Biden is adapting everybody else's base, but he really doesn't have his own, what would you say, organic base? Because even when you speak about Elizabeth Warren, you haven't heard Elizabeth Warren come out and say anything. Very casually, they'll do like those Facebook ads that I have Elizabeth Warren that'll say, come out and vote for support the Democratic Party, but she never comes out and says his name. Well, the only person who really came out, and the same thing with Pete Buttigieg, the other person only person that has really came out is Sanders. And remember when Sanders tried to convert his votes over to Hillary Clinton? People weren't buying it.
Well, no, people, a majority of people, in fact, not only did people not buy Hillary from Sanders, but the black vote in general didn't buy Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, just to them, because of fake news, what they knew, and the investigation, the polls showed that they found her truly untrustworthy. Nobody could.
Yeah. Now, there was an article that just went out yesterday, and I'll send it to you so you can read it, in regards to Joe Biden talking about the educational system and what he's planning to do in regards to student loans. And part of that plan is saying that he's going to extend the student loans out to 20 years, and after 20 years, you won't have to pay. He's going to reduce the amount down to, he said, like an estimate, if you're paying between $100 and $300 a month on student loans, you'll now be paying like $78 or something like that. He never talked about reducing the interest rate. He never talked about a plan to actually go to the universities to create a universal cost plan, because we can be paying 20 years on an education, but the tuitions itself are still too high. They're overpriced. So I thought the plan itself was just like backwards. So now you're telling me now we're guaranteed to have a 20-year debt.
Yes, you're guaranteed to have a 20-year debt, just like you have a 20-year debt on your house, because and you're right, the cost of education is higher than a mortgage.
Yeah, but that's if you buy a house, because think about it. When you get ready to go to file for a mortgage, that debt and your payments on that student loan is used against you.
Yes, it is. Exactly. But the debt on a student loan is used against you, against your credit, if you are not making payments. The debt is eliminated or not calculated if you're still in school. But so, and I'm going through the same thing because I have student loans going for my doctorate. and buying a house. And they said that exact same thing that you're saying to me. So they said, well, good thing is that you're still going to school. So
but most people are out of school. I'm talking about millennials. They finish school. They're still paying college. They're still paying off their debt, and they can't buy a home because if they don't have enough income to go along with the expenses and debt that they have outstanding, they still can't buy a home, but they're still paying high rents. So they're like stuck in the middle.
Well, look at my wife's situation as well. I mean, she's about maybe 5 years, 6 years, getting her master's and still paying that student loan debt. So yeah, it's the exact same thing. So what his plan does is make the payments palatable so that you can go through it monthly. But I agree, they also should start working on that free tuition or free parts of tuition. One of the things in Obama's plan with the student loan was that he gave student loan forgiveness for people who worked 3 years in a public service industry. So that was a big help. But yeah, in terms of college, I mean, I'm paying for my college, my daughter's college. Yeah, it's way too freaking high, and it does need to change. So yeah, I think that's another thing that we should be putting on the docket in terms of the agenda of blacks. But the other thing that you have to look at in terms of Biden's base, how it's widening, but the fault is he's going traditional media, where Trump had, in fact, Biden had spent $1 million on social media targeting the black groups and certain social groups that are heavy with black media. But Trump has spent $22 million on social media targeting blacks. That's where he's getting his gain from. But see, the thing is, the difference between Trump and Biden is that Trump's platform is real. I mean, Biden's platform is real, where Trump is giving them fake news. He did nothing for HBCUs. That bill that was passed was veto-proof. It was just held up. He did nothing in terms of black prison. In fact, he defunded the largest source of helping blacks come out of prison early and giving them money for their reconstruction or redevelopment. So people are definitely drinking this fake Kool-Aid. At some point in time, you know, some people should be pulling these people to the side and going, yo, that ain't real. And the big thing that's really helping Trump is Kanye West. So with that pattern, Eric may be right. If black people don't wake up, he may win again if he survives COVID-19. This is a huge wake-up for black communities. If we are going to get past this, we're going to actually start having to look again at the media or the source of media that people are ingesting. And the worst thing about it is that people believe the truth. People believe the lie before they believe the truth. Oh, and the leader of the Proud Boys yesterday on, I think it was one of the news sources, I think it was NPR. So the fact checkers, please don't hold my feet to the fire on this. The leader of the Proud Boys denounced white supremacy. He said that they are not a white supremacy group. Anybody believe that?
Mm-mm.
So, in fact, they basically said that they're fighting against the white supremacy group Antifa, which doesn't make sense because Antifa stands for anti-fascist.
Right.
And the Proud Boys are pretty much a fascist group.
Yeah.
So does it really matter who these groups are and what their names are called? We know they're written.
Well, I guess.
Isn't it more important that we focus on doing better as opposed to worrying about who's hating? Because they always gonna be hating.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. But here is the thing in your statement. The hate groups are fine. If they want to hate and peacefully protest there, that's fine. But these are the hate groups that have been causing violence. The incident in North Carolina where the guy got in his truck and killed people, causing violence. Them getting up in their Confederate flags and standing against the Black Lives Matter protests. They're causing violence. Those who are actually showing up with their guns at the state capitol and telling them that they need to open up the state, they're causing violence. This little kid who takes his automatic weapon, drives across a couple of states and shoots and kills 2 people. These hate people are spewing this propaganda of taking back America, making America great again, or making America white again, and causing violence. I don't have a problem with anybody who wants to protest their stance. That's okay. That's fine. And they have a constitutional right for peaceful protest. But no, you don't come to a protest with automatic weapons, Confederate flags, and telling people, and spewing that stuff based on intimidation. No, forget that. Our country has been through too much, and we've been too much to go back, or to be pushed back, or to be scared back into this other mindset or ideology that America can be great if America is only white led and ruled. Because the white
we talked about this before, Vincent. You're talking about pushback. I don't think we're so far out of being where we started from. I mean, no, we're not enslaved in the traditional way of working in the fields, but there are still ways that you can see and show that we are so far behind, and not just behind culturally and spiritually and emotionally and economically. We're behind every single group that comes into the country behind us. That's serious.
It is.
So I don't think we've ever moved forward. We take one step forward, and we get kicked back 10 more steps.
I agree. And here is the mindset. See, we seem to believe that the Civil War is over, and it's not, because they believe that they're just getting ready for round 2.
Well, the Civil War is about to happen. So I think what's interesting that you even mentioned the word Civil War is what will happen if we get to the point when the election happens, whichever way, or against, let's say Trump does lose. What's going to happen if he stages a coup and does not leave?
Well,
what do we do then?
Well, I can.
Will people, the American citizens, be prepared to handle that? We're always looking at other countries that had these coups, Mexico, Argentina, all these other countries that had these problems every single year. And now it's at our own front door. Will we be able to handle that with the economic situation that we're in now? What will happen?
Well, I can tell you this, what will actually happen.
All right. But wait. Can I say something now before we even get to that? You can't even go with the hypothetical. In order for it to occur, Diane, he has to have the military. See, and he doesn't. So there won't be,
yes,
right?
He does.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't have the United States military. He has these group of paramilitaries, the fascist groups. He's got that.
No. But that's different, though. But you could But you could have.
Let's talk about this legitimately. If he doesn't leave, if he doesn't have control of the military like the Constitution says he does, then who will it revert to? Will the military say, no, I'm not listening? Will they stand down? Will they go with the new how would that be handled? I think that's more important that we need to know. What will happen in Congress? What will they do?
In terms of our actual Constitution.
Yeah, exactly.
Once Trump leaves, there is the automatic transference of.
That's right. Whether Trump wants it or not, Diane. So the military. So as soon as there's an understanding of.
Who's the winner?
Yeah, of who the winner is, then Trump's no longer the decider.
Okay, so
In fact,
wait, Vincent. So he's about to appoint his fourth person, okay, onto the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
The courts will be the ones who will decide, should he continue with this, the ballots and elections is all fraudulent, it's a conspiracy against me. What do you think they're going to do?
Well, but that's
How long can they hold it up in the courts?
While they hold it up in the courts, if he does decide to take the court method, because yes, he's about to appoint another judge, which totally puts things in his favor. Now, while that process is taking place, the United States is being ran by guess who? Nancy Pelosi. She is the now acting person in power, according to the Constitution. But what he's looking to do is to get his sub-military, because once that transference of power goes, the military now is under Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, and that's important for people to know, because people are really concerned, and I'm telling you why they're concerned. Because Trump's people are now putting out this rhetoric, and he did it on a debate. They're going to fight me. They're going to cheat me. They're going to do all of this. And there will be people, regardless of Democrats, Republicans, or Independents, that are going to be concerned as to what the transition is going to be. Because you got to remember, these people have not taken any civics classes, so they don't understand government and how the transfer of power actually happens. So that needs to be a talking point. So once it becomes a talking point, it eliminates what he says. You can't talk no more about his nonsense because it doesn't matter. CNN can't spew it anymore. MSNBC can't say, well, we need to be prepared. Nancy Pelosi can't talk about we need to be prepared if he don't leave. There is no need to be, because this is the transaction as to how it's going to happen.
Well, and he has been spewing that, and one of the things that gave a big alarm to a lot of Americans is when he told the Proud Boys to stand back and be prepared or be ready. He actually gave them the green light for his quote-unquote revolution. But here is one thing that a lot of people have not gave a lot of consideration to. United States has the most highest rated and overly trained military in history. Now, there is a constitutional law that says that the United States soldiers cannot fight on United States soil unless being attacked by foreign threats. However, the United States does have the National Guard, which happens to be the same highly trained people who do it on a part-time basis. Once he basically sends those people in, we're talking about trained people with a great deal more equipment at their disposal than these paramilitary groups. It is not going to end well for them.
No. Call it go.
I actually have to think about it first. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Jody.
The fact that we're having...
Good morning.
Good morning, Diane. The fact that, and I listen too, that we're having this conversation says that something is wrong, right? That we're having this conversation like we're having a normal conversation about a normal election and a normal orange dude, and everything is normal, right? That,
look, Jody, even on the local levels, Jody, there's this conversation behind the scenes. If the mayor doesn't leave, what we gonna do? It's always this conversation. The public just doesn't hear it.
No, we don't have a conversation about. Ready, Diane? You said so. If he loses the election and he refuses to leave, what we gonna do? Like, that's not normal, right? And so Eric responds. He's trying to Eric was trying to make it,
Normal,
real, right? He's like, that just can't happen. And then Vincent says, oh no, the military gonna do it. Eric's like, he doesn't have the military. Vincent's like, no, he has this other military. Strange.
But Jody, think about it. There's people on Facebook having these conversations.
That is so crazy, right? But this is my theory. You don't have to worry about it, guys, because he got corona.
He got the Rona.
He got corona.
He
in the middle, and I happen to be like up, crazy as it sounds, on my laptop doing some orders and looking at the news. When they said it, when I tell you I hysterically started laughing, I couldn't believe it, but I believe it. I believe he doesn't a bit more have corona than the man in the moon. But I do believe Eric's assessment is wrong. I think he knows today, or he knew yesterday, that he was losing. I think he recognized that there was a lot of Republican pushback by his behavior at the debate and his behavior after failing, because if anyone paid attention, right before he got corona, he finally said it out loud. I denounce white supremacist groups, talking to the dude. It was weird. At 9 o'clock.
No, he didn't say that.
Hey, Hope Hicks. Yes, he did. At 9 o'clock last night.
Oh, last night.
An interview with, what is his name? Hafferty or whatever that.
Hannity?
So at
Hannity.
9 o'clock he said, oh, and by the way, Hope Hicks has coronavirus, and in that same conversation, he for the first time says, I denounce white supremacy. And he made him say that. Say it, President, so that people know. So he did. He said it, and then he quickly switched to Antifa. But he said it. That was at 9. And at 1, I have corona too. Which is so abnormal because, all the things that we talk about losing the normal in it all. When he had corona, we didn't go through, so the president is going to be down for at least 10 to 14 days, and so the vice president is now in charge. There was conversations about, well, who got the corona with him? Did the vice president get it with him? Did the people in Bridgewater, New Jersey get it from him? He was it's like a shit show, right? But I think that's about the fact that he recognizes that even the party is turning on him. Some of the things that's being reported, the taxes, then yesterday it was something else. They talked about a private conversation that someone else had. I think that is the Republican pushback, right? Hold on one moment.
Right, but while we hold on for Jody to come back, I'm going to say, look, none of the things, these are all things this is all fodder for us, right? The headline.
And I have to work too. My receptionist is out today, so I'm right in the mix of it.
No.
I think that he feels the loss. And if we think about the last crazy president that did what Trump did and said I had coronavirus, would be in Europe, and they did an analysis I saw this morning somewhere I was reading, and it was that when he was in intensive care, his rates went up. That people rallied around him, although there was a lot of animosity for what he had been saying and what he had been doing. But by the time he got out of the hospital, the whole nation was good for him. And I think Trump's dumb enough to think that'll work for him. I think he's stupid enough to think that he can have that moment. And guess what, Diane? He can.
Yeah, I think it's
Absolutely, because I believe it was the Prime Minister of
Boris.
UK.
Yeah.
What was his name? Boris.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was.
But here's the difference. But here's the difference. He was not calling. See, you can't take what happened there out of context. In context, Donald Trump said that it was a hoax. In context, Donald Trump said that it was going to go away by the summer. In context, Donald Trump said that he was downplaying it. In context, Donald Trump didn't view it to be a major deal, right? Donald Trump even mocked it by not wearing masks, right? So that's the Donald Trump. And so with that comes the ridicule and, and the joke making, like Vincent said, right? God has a sense of humor, right? Now, when we talk about what happened to the prime minister, he didn't view coronavirus like Donald Trump did, right? He didn't thumb his nose at it. He didn't appear to be insensitive to people who were suffering and dying from it. And I think there lies the difference. And so I don't think that Donald Trump has anything to gain. I really don't. I think that there will be more people just saying, see, I told you. See, I told you so. And he wouldn't listen. And now he's got it. You see? And so...
Well, Eric, I think you're partially right, but think about it. We're not dealing with a rational person.
No, I'm not talking about him.
So it's like dealing with a child with a temper tantrum. So when a child has a temper tantrum and you ignore them and they keep crying and carrying on, and then you say, okay, you ready? You done now? And then they said, yeah, I'm done, because they want the attention.
Diane,
So
I know. I don't dispute that Donald Trump is an attention grabber. I mean, he says so himself, right? During the 2016 election, it was all about the ratings of the debates, right? Everything was about ratings, what the ratings were going to be, who loves him, what the, what prime minister or what leader of what country thinks about him. Right? So I'm clear about that. I'm saying Donald Trump is also very shrewd, right? Donald Trump's not a dumb guy. He vanquished 17 opponents in 2017. He did that. He did it. And he defied every...
No. Obama did that.
No.
Okay.
No. Donald Trump. No. Obama
According to you,
set the stage. No.
That's been said here is that anger from Obama. It could have been me. It could have been you. They were rallying. They were sick of the Democratic Party. The whole
No. No. Here. No. No. I think he's very smart. But what I'll say is this too, regarding him vanquishing them. Obama certainly laid the table, right? He set the table. He put the meal on the table, right? Based on the taste that was left in people's mouths. And then the Democratic Party seasoned the meat and the stuff that was on the table by putting Hillary Clinton up there as the right. So they did all of that, no doubt. But you had a Republican Party that was defiant in terms of understanding what was happening, right? And because of their defiance, their hubris, their absolute arrogance, they just said, we're going to steamroll over this idiot. So when he showed up on the stage, they didn't prepare for what he was bringing because they didn't think it was going to work. Right? And that's what I'm saying. So Donald Trump understood. He understood the climate better than anybody else did. He understood the climate better. So while people were talking about the TMZ tape or whatever that reality show tape that came out of him, we're talking about what he did to women and Access Hollywood tape, right? While everybody else was freaking out about that, Donald Trump understood. And he leaned right into it. He didn't run from it, leaned right into it. And everybody said, oh, this is going to take him down. And every other thing that he did that they said was going to take him down rose him up higher. He understood. So he wasn't dumb. He saw it and he acted on it. So he vanquished 17 opponents. And what I'm saying to you is this. Donald Trump, that same Donald Trump from 2016, who understood the climate, understands the climate now. And so, and I think in that he realizes how what he did in terms of COVID-19 and how he's viewed with respect to that. And I don't think that he believes that there's anything for him to gain by saying that he and Melania Trump contracted COVID-19. I think that.
Tell you something you can't gain, right? also tapes were leaked about Melania screaming about Christmas decorations as opposed to the people on the border he was caging up. That tape is damaging. And so we're not talking about that today, but that just happened. That happened in between the 9 o'clock hour. And
Now wait a minute. What was it? Because I saw somebody post that. What was it? What was the tape
Yeah,
again?
It came out at 1 in the morning.
What was it?
So it came out about a tape that they have of Melania Trump, where she was taped by her best friend and confidant, screaming about the Christmas decorations and how people get angry with her about the Christmas decorations because they're too busy talking about the people in cages at the border. That came out right in between that, right? He has something he has things that even the information about everything that's happening right now, he has a reason to make that happen. Hold on, please.
Yeah, but to think about the tape that just came out, and it came out because her best friend is the one who's writing this book now. Because she did all of these secret tapings of her at the White House. Who is that harming? That's not harming their base. Because those people don't care about those kids in those cages. They don't care about the treatment.
Listen, I'm gonna say to you again. People are motivated to vote when they have something to vote for, not against. And right now, people don't have on the other side something to vote for. They've been told to vote against this thing or this person, whatever you want to call them, 45, the orange man, the Dorito, the Cheeto, the whatever, right? To vote against him. That's not enough. The company that I was in 2016, who rented out the presidential suite at the Robert Treat Hotel, it had a beautiful spread when the numbers were coming in, and I was enjoying all of the great food. I was the only one in that room of maybe 38 people that said that Donald Trump was going to win that night. Look, and I don't see any different. So if somebody wants to go and foot the bill for for the presidential suite, I'll be there. People are not motivated to vote. Not enough people. Some people are, right, but not enough are motivated to vote to go out and vote against something. They want to vote for something.
Well, I think people have something to vote for. I honestly do. We're looking at right now, everybody, America is going through this perpetual state of confusion and exhaustion. And the confusion and exhaustion all roads lead to Donald Trump. And as soon as and people have now been so galvanized to vote that the counties election are overloaded with people wanting their mail-in ballots and wanting mail-in places to put it. In fact, people have now gotten to the point where they're saying, look, I get my mail-in ballot, I'm driving it up to the county that day and putting it in to be counted.
Yeah, people
You're breaking up, Diane.
So
You're breaking up, Diane.
Can you hear me better now?
Got you.
Okay. All right. The one thing that we're not paying attention to is down ballot, and these down ballot votes are more important, or just as important as this presidential candidate vote. Because if we continue to just vote straight down the line, and people are thinking, and this is their warped thinking, that if Biden gets in, things are going to change. Things are not going to change if those Congress people are the same. They've been doing the same thing over and over. They're not trying to do anything to uplift you or make anything better. They're just complacent and happy where they're at.
I totally agree, and that's one thing that is always said on this show, is that, the presidential election is nice on a national level, but you guys keep forgetting that, we've got other primaries and other elections that are going on, which affect your life at a faster and higher rate.
However, the Democratic Party knows it because they ain't put out no literature for Cory Booker. They ain't put out nothing for Donald Payne Jr. I don't know about the other counties and the other Congress people in their areas. Nothing. You don't see the ads on Facebook. You don't see the ad commercials on TV. Nothing for the Congress people running that are currently incumbents. running for re-election, even though they have opponents. The only ones you hear about are in these different states where they're having problems to moving these Republicans out. That's it.
That's right. She's right because. By the way, after the debate, Joe Biden and the Democratic Party donations had increased. In fact, they reached $300 and some odd million that one day. People are now galvanized to just basically push that blue wave, and we keep
No,
forgetting that one of the
stop.
biggest reasons
Where's the
that-
money
one of
coming
One
from?
of the biggest reasons that we're having this issue is because we're which now means that we may be reelecting some of those do-nothing Democrats
But-
that have been stuck in our craw for years.
Right, but understand. See, so here's the okey doke, right? So where people were sensitive about where money was coming from, how it was getting into the party, who the backers were. There was this education that was going out about, politicians being purchased through these donations, dark money, all this kind of stuff. Nobody talks about that now. See, it's all about stopping Trump.
The race for the candidate is over, and they don't have to throw each other under the bus.
Right. And so now they're back to stockpiling money again. They're back to doing what they've done. And what I'm saying is this: doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is insanity. And so right now, Democratic Party is doing what it always does. Right?
Yeah,
And
the machine is in place and energized against Trump.
no, the machine is in place and energized against us. Don't get it twisted. See, don't get it twisted. See, Trump is a distraction. They've now vanquished Bernie Sanders. They are actively don't get it twisted.
No, they didn't vanquish Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders will definitely have a position in the Biden.
Well, the
cabinet.
movement, the progressive movement, they have put a big hole in the progressive movement right now by discrediting them with the likes of AOC and Ilhan, all those people, and Rashida, who sat in Ayanna, who talked about no black faces without black voices. I'm gonna take that shit off my show, man. We're not gonna play that anymore because she didn't mean it.
I don't think so because AOC and the squad has not changed their fundamental platform. The only thing that the squad is doing right now is saying this: we can get more done with them as our allies than we can with them as our enemies.
You know what
Right
though?
now,
They
we've
don't.
got a greater enemy to defeat.
See, but they see, and that is the naivete of the squad, believing that because understand who these people are. They're the same people who went and threatened these vendors, right?
And she had to come to them to make sure she got a seat back.
Right. They threatened these vendors and they said, listen, if you go and you do any work for any of these folks who are primarying our incumbents, we won't give you any more work. We won't, right? They did that, right? These same people. They haven't changed.
And those same people right now are kicking themselves in the behind because they did that, and now these people that they opposed are in power.
Right. But do you think that their mentality has changed? Do you think that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all those folks who sit high up in the Democratic Party, do you think that they don't sit every single day and plot and plan on how to take down the squad?
I think that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have noticed the power of the squad. They have realized that there is a
And they want them gone.
A new group in Congress right now, and that they cannot manipulate them because they are supported by the people in which they strongly represent.
Right, but you know how you break that support?
One thing that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer is doing is trying to friend them.
No, they're
so
not.
they can
What they're
push
trying to do is
their vision.
they're trying to compromise them. That's what they're trying to do so they can discredit them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh no, trust me.
But you cannot compromise AOC. The woman is true blue.
Wait a minute.
She is true to her.
No. Listen to what I'm saying to you. So now AOC comes out and supports Biden, right? AOC is going to wind up endorsing and supporting some other establishment candidates, right? And so now, once she starts to do that, right, and then you take the sound bites. See, it's a process, Vincent. And once you take the sound bites and you take the pictures of her standing next to Biden and standing next to this one, and then you put the headline there or you put the caption there. Folks now, she's no longer the firebrand progressive. We're going to tear down the system and rebuild it to work for everybody. She's no longer that person. I mean, think about a guy like Killer Mike, who during the entire primary was talking about, we can't wait any longer. We can't wait any longer. Our time is now. Well, so now you put a muzzle on them and you say, oh, well, we'll wait now. See, there's some discreditation that comes when you do that. Because all of the people who were there donating money and rah-rah, and they go, wait a minute, you said don't wait. You said we got to kick the door down now. You said we got to bust this shit down and get in there and take it. Now you're saying, no, we got to stand here, bend over and take it. It's different, right? And the
Eric, do you think it ruined her?
Do I think
Do you
it?
think this is going to ruin her, rather?
Do I think it is? I think it's gonna. I think the shine is off of AOC as a result of this.
Why? Because she's lining herself up?
Absolutely.
Because people, or see, you're thinking that she's lining herself up. The truth may be that people are lining up with her.
No, but
I think she's in the process.
No.
Because she's been very silent. All of them, the whole squad has been very silent, and this is the time you should get the most rah-rah out of them because we're closing in on the election.
right. No, I think it does damage
I
her.
don't know. I mean, I don't know. She's been, I've seen a couple of very powerful videos from her on her social media in support of Biden. Really powerful, too. She definitely hasn't, she's definitely standing by him.
No, that's what I'm saying. And see, and once you do that, you're no longer. Look, that hardcore.
I don't believe that her standing by Biden diminishes her. I think the only thing that it does is increase Biden.
No, it doesn't, and I don't think it increases Biden. See, there's this arrogance, right? That says, because I believe the hardcore progressives are about a movement, not a person, and so they're willing to jump on. They're not like folks who have married themselves to the Democratic Party who vote against their interests just to be a Democrat. Progressives will jump off of your wagon if you turn the wrong direction. And I think that and we saw it happen. We saw it happen in 2016. They said no. And Bernie Sanders did. He spent a lot of money after he got out of the race, traveling all over the country trying to get Hillary Clinton elected. They said no. They said no. They said no, and I think the same thing's gonna happen now. Bernie's gonna go and do all the stuff that he's doing, and those people are saying no, Bernie, because like Bernie said, it's not about me, it's about us. But now Bernie wants it to be about him, right? See, understand it. He wants all those people who bought into it's about us. Now to listen to him.
This is the game of politics. Now that it's over and the primaries are done, the whole thing that people have to do is take those who opposed you during the primaries and now use you to unite the party.
But it's not going to happen. I understand that, but the risk you run.
Listen, listen. You say it's not going to happen. $300+ million. This party is uniting like a mother.
No, but where's the money coming from? You don't hear them tout. You don't wait a minute. You don't hear them touting. See, X number of donors at $17 a donation. This money is coming from big corporations, man. That's where it's coming from.
According to the actual voting campaign financing, big corporations are only allowed to do X amount of dollars, and then it stops. This money is coming from, this money is now. And looking at, when I looked at where some of it is coming from, the largest groups are now, what's happening now is that oligarchs are now trying to line themselves up with Biden. So large donations are coming in from there. But the bulk of it is the same thing that happened with Obama. A lot of individuals are doing donations of $20 to $50. A whole lot. So is that part of the Bernie Sanders, the people funding the people to be represented? Yeah, you're getting a lot of that. Is it oligarchs trying to jockey for position and power? Yeah, you're getting that too. But right now, everybody is uniting against Trump. And even Trump sees that, no, this ship is not sailing, it's sinking.
Man, I tell you, the third can't get here fast enough. It is the 3rd, right? November 3rd?
It's actually, what, the 2nd? Oh, it's November 3rd.
How far have I gotten you down the line?
How far have you gotten me down the line? Jody, I just found, I posted something up like yesterday on Facebook because a friend of mine has multiple sclerosis and is going to walk in a walk tomorrow and was trying to get these shirts printed up. And so I posted up on Facebook, try to find somebody who could print the shirts. And it was serendipitous that I found a black-owned shirt printer that literally lives a stone's throw away from me. And so I have kind of paused my ADO. I'm long-windedly answering your question, Jody. So I've temporarily paused printing my ADOS apparel because I want to make sure that I'm dealing with black-owned businesses along the way. I mean, that's the brand, and that's our mission. And so I am 100% ADOS, and I'm looking and going, ain't nothing up there in that top of the ticket for me, so I'm going down ballot. Now, I am talking about the fact that Donald Trump was opposing, and I don't know where they stand right now in California with regard to the 1619 project and folding that into the curriculum. I know that he, said that he was going to defund or cut off funding if they did that. So I'm fighting that battle, right? And I'm educating people about that. But the other guy, the sleepy guy. So yeah, the orange guy ain't got nothing for me, but the sleepy guy ain't got nothing for me either. So down ballot is where I am.
Oh, speaking of which, the sleepy guy, the pollster also looked at Donald Trump's worst category, and that is black women.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that.
1% black women.
I wouldn't doubt that.
And they looked at why he only has 1% black women. In terms of people of color, black women outnumber black men in terms of education.
Sure. Well,
no, it's not that. You know what it is? I'm so glad I'm one of those things, those black women things. I think that we're trying to save what we have left. And I hate to say this because I know there's 2 black men on the line, And I think that, or from what I've just seen during this little election cycle, I think that you guys are always standing up for some bullshit. that gets us proverbially, and it's the black woman thing. What I'm going to call us the black woman thing today. That gets us. We have to be hyper active about trying to save y'all once again from your own stuff. Listen, when I look at social media,
See, I can't say anything because I just got engaged.
and I'm always, I have, because someone's going to kill me on social media for this. I have 5 brothers, full disclosure, a father who was good to my family and took care of us, and I have a son, and I've had lovers in my day. I love black men exclusively. But good. Can I move for a second? Move for a second. But I think that you guys get so caught up in so much BS, and that's why we are there. I remember during the last election for Donald Trump, Eric had a friend. We're going to call him a friend, a weirdo. We're going to call him a weirdo. He had a weirdo at the time that was on the show with him, and I remember this weirdo blocking me. I can't even remember his name anymore. It was Islamic, but he's a weirdo then. He was a weirdo then. He's a weirdo today. And he was like such a Donald Trump fan. He was and he had the same languaging, right? He was very aggressive. He had an excuse for everything Donald Trump was doing. And then at the end of his little checkoff list, it was, and black women are always falling for that, right? So we didn't fall for it then, and we're not falling for it now. But I think you guys are just messing us up because it's not about what it is for us, right? We see our children being destroyed by this. We see it bigger than color. While Eric is very ADOS, and I get that, right? We're trying to have a country where our children can be with all people, and we're trying to see that through. And every woman I talk to, that's where we are. And you guys are always somewhere else, getting lost in some epic sauce and having us pick that up.
Well, Jody, I'm going to say this. And if anybody doesn't like it, at this point, too bad. Black men right now are too easily distracted. We're not focusing on what's good for our family. And the biggest thing is that the black men who have voted for Donald Trump and have liked Donald Trump right now are afraid to admit that they're wrong. They want to stick to that script, and rather than saying that, okay, I picked the wrong person and moving on, following the sisters, no. They want to stick to that macho, masculine bravado and say, no, he all right, and make excuses for him. And it's about time that we change that.
Right? The new one is that they putting the black woman above us.
Exactly.
Black men ain't going to never have nothing because Kamala on the ticket. That's my side.
See, to me, it doesn't matter if I'm drowning. It doesn't matter who hands me the life jacket. A woman, a man, or whatever the case may be. Somebody is actually doing something to save my life. And that's the way that we need to look at it. Stop looking at the packaging and look at what's in the box.
Right. And so I think that black men who are drowning say that neither of them are throwing a lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there are lifelines all around them.
No, there aren't.
There are.
Okay. We can.
There are.
We can
there
have.
Are. We talked about that for a long time, Eric. There are a lot of lifelines that are thrown out under Biden's agenda, which he calls Lift Every Voice, which is truly the most comprehensive black agenda that people have seen. There are lifelines that are there, but they're not looking for them. because they want Jesus to show up and walk on water and pull them up out rather than grab the lifeline. Because that's what the black women are doing. The black women are like, no, we got to save us. And if I have to save you too. We cannot admit that we were wrong. So we're going to sit up there and go to our death with that same failed ideology rather than just admitting that you were wrong. Who in the hell at past the age of 30 years old has never been wrong?
Who's not admitting that they were wrong?
They can't admit it. That was one of the biggest things in the survey. The guy said that they could not admit that they were wrong. So Donald Trump giving them propaganda licensed them to continue to drink the Kool-Aid.
Got it. Anyway, what else is going on? Is there anything else going on other than this? When's the next debate? Oh, whoa. When is the vice presidential debate?
I think in 4 days. I think October 9th.
So how do you think, because we ended this show yesterday, we were talking a little bit about that. How do you think that's going to work out?
Well, one, I know it won't be the shit show, SCHITT show, like the other debate. I think that Kamala is very smart, very quick on her feet. I think that they are preparing her very well. But you cannot discount Mike Pence. I mean, he did pretty well in his debate, 2016. But, for right now, it's really too hard to actually tell. I think that everybody's looking for something much better than what they just had.
Well, what's going to be interesting about the difference in 2016 and now is that Mike Pence will have to defend Donald Trump.
Correct.
See, in this debate, Kamala, as a former prosecutor, is going to put Donald Trump on trial, right? And irrespective of the fact that Mike Pence will be standing, a minimum of 6 feet away from her, right? She is going to be attacking Donald Trump the entire time and forcing him to defend some of the absurdity. And I think that she is, she's good at that, right? She's good at her job. The question is how Mike Pence is going to handle that. But having said that,
well, not only that, but Mike Pence also has to defend himself.
No,
because he is the lead of the coronavirus task force.
Oh, no doubt. And so he'll have to do all of those things. But we're getting back to again, who's the show for? Are there going to be people that are? Did any poll come out after the debate, Vince? After the presidential debate? I didn't. I told you, man. I've been hiding from the media, man.
Yes. There have been hundreds of polls that came out. Now, any credible
poll?
Polls?
Yes, any credible.
Yes. There, in fact, the most credible right now are the New York Times and CNN.
Okay, what did they say?
Well, that depends on what you're looking for. Now, if you want to know who people think won the debate, it's Border, 3 points for Biden, up until the point where it started to go down, where he just turned it into where he just went ghetto, and a lot of people, but in terms of the other New York Times, most of the people were not happy about him calling the president of the United States a clown.
I told you, and telling him to shut up.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, they
Yeah.
were happy about it. Oh, no. But if you look but that was a majority and heavy. You look at the New York Times has a very heavy Republican viewership, but CNN has a heavy Democratic viewership, where Biden's points went up when he told him to shut up.
Mm. Mm.
But it's six on one hand and half a dozen on the other. Where some believe that they both were bad, and the others believe that Biden won.
Right. So in the end, it's questionable whether or not any undecided people were swayed one way or the other. Right. The camps kind of
Correct.
stayed where they were, and so right.
But what you're looking, the key is with this upcoming vice president debate is that you're looking at two things. One, you're looking at potentially whoever wins. You're looking at the next president under their tenure. And two, you're looking at their ability, because the incumbents are going to run on their record, which basically is crap, and everybody knows it's fake. So what they're going to do is distract everybody from addressing the issues, and you're looking at Kamala Harris pushing the issues.
And you know what? I gotta tell you this, and I'd like to know, because me being as astute as I am in terms of politics, I gotta tell you, when I voted for a president, I never voted and looked at the vice president as being a heartbeat away from the presidency and all those other kinds of things, or being the heir apparent to the president. You know, I never look at those. I never have. You know, I watched the debates, and I would engage in the political theater during the election time, but I was looking at the president. I wasn't looking at the vice president, and I wonder how many people are really looking. I mean, I know we talk about it, right? But I wonder how many people are really engaged at that level and believing. I mean, because it is true, right? The vice president is, in fact, a heartbeat away from the presidency, from the Oval Office. But I wonder how many people actually vote based on that information.
Well, a lot of people do. Studies show that Americans have been taking a stance on the vice president, but the vice presidency started getting tarnished when we had Quayle. Everybody remembers him, the vice president who couldn't spell potato. So the next thing that tarnished everybody was that we had the Reagan administration, in which George Walker Bush was George Herbert Walker Bush was the heir apparent to carry on the Reagan administration and the platforms. And when he got there, the first thing that we did, and he did a phenomenal job with the Gulf War. There has not been a sitting president that has destroyed a country in less than 100 days. Now, the only problem with that is that he never planned for his reelection. So, and he was still battling the economy, which he couldn't seem to get right. So, from that point, we've lost our luster for vice presidents, and except for the Democratic, where Al Gore was up. The biggest problem with Al Gore's election was that
It was Al Gore.
Al Gore?
It was Al Gore. I said the biggest problem with Al Gore's election was Al Gore.
Correct. Al Gore, but you look at Al Gore as a third generation politician.
Sure.
But and very smart and very astute. He was the one that started the Paris climate, and he was also very instrumental in pushing what we're using right now, electronic commerce. So, and he was very much the soft and likable side of the Clinton campaign. Problem that they had is that Al Gore couldn't find a way to distance himself from the escapade of the Clinton administration, like the Monica Lewinsky, yet keep the star power of the Clinton administration. And that was the worst thing ever, because Hillary Clinton won senator that year based on the star power of her husband.
Yeah. Didn't Al Gore also say he invented the internet? Didn't he say he did that too?
He didn't invent the internet. He did give the internet. He did push the internet to. I mean,
No, I understand what he did, but he said he invented it. Hold on. Let's take this call. Caller, go.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm not gonna stay on long.
Are you on the road, Mike?
Yeah, I'm on the road. Always on the road. But
what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. But we're gonna have to really take a good look at the vice president, this year because we got first of all we got to give it 2 weeks because if Donald Trump was COVID positive and all of the sprays that was coming out of his mouth in that room towards Biden, give it 2 weeks, Biden might be tested positive. But in this case, with Donald Trump's age and his comorbidities and having the virus, if he starts showing symptoms, which I think they're saying he got a few symptoms, but this thing could take him out. Mike Pence, I don't know, how the election would be affected by this, but and if Joe Biden was in the room and all these aerosols that they're saying that don't have no limit and a great amount of it is in the room, and if he's inhaled any of it, and he's both of them 74, 75 years old, the next people up could. It's not funny, but I only laugh because I'm trying to keep from crying. But we got to take a real. This could change it all about the VP because, especially in the age of COVID, and to the young lady's point about the patriarchal role of the black man bringing the black woman down. I'd be careful with that conversation because, age is still 90-something% of women voted for Hillary and black men, it was like 80-something%. We have our problems just like any other man, but we ain't out here being a distraction to black women most of the time, But, but to your point about the VP taking a look at him, in the past, that was, we barely paid it any attention, but these cats are up there in age, and one of them got COVID, and he can't really come. Now, this is what it's going to be about. He can't come back onto the main stage until he tests negative.
Right.
So if he ain't tested negative, he might be out of the loop for a while. So, I keep hearing people like, hey, he got a quarantine, this, that, and the third. No, he done tested positive, and he can't get back on the scene until he tests negative. So,
here's one thing that we have to look at. Okay.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
All right. And he raised an interesting point in terms of the vice presidency. Here is one thing that we have to look at. During the course of the COVID-19, we're talking about two men who are in a high-risk category of losing their lives to the virus.
Mm-hmm.
You may possibly be looking at the presidential election changing from Biden and Trump to Pence and Harris. So, it's an important thing to look at this.
So that's really interesting, though. I mean, what are they doing? What are they saying about... So I saw the headlines, Donald Trump and Melania Trump have coronavirus. But what are they saying about them having to self-isolate now?
Well, what they're saying is that they're both showing mild symptoms. So whether they're playing it down or
no, but the protocol is isolate for 2 weeks.
Correct.
Right.
And basically, the coronavirus, since there is no known cure, and your body has to build the antibodies, that you basically treat the symptom. And from people that I talked to one of the biggest remedies for the coronavirus is tea and chicken soup.
So is he in any of the articles that you've read? I mean, is he self-isolating, and is Melania self-isolating? I mean, to Mike's point, and
They're
to
saying that they are.
okay,
They are sequestered in the West Wing.
and to Mike's point, it's got to be 14 days, and then he's got to test negative,
Correct.
right? And then they have to also do the contact tracing,
Yeah.
and wait a minute, and they got to do the contact tracing, and anyone.
Negative for 14 days, but you also have to look at if his symptoms don't elevate, and he has to be hospitalized.
No, I got that. But let's follow this for a second. So even when you contact trace, right? So I'm assuming he's been around his vice president, right? And so if you've been around somebody who has had COVID-19, right? Isn't there some isolation you're supposed to do too?
Correct.
Right. And so
Well, not only him, but guess who else has to isolate for 2 weeks? Chris Christie and Cuomo. There were 8 people in his debate team. But you look at the COVID-19, they have to trace back everybody that you've been involved with for 2 weeks because it takes actually 2 weeks of contracting it before you test positive.
right, that's what I'm saying. So, so asymptomatic for, 14 or so days, 15 days, right? Talking to all the people, hanging out with all the people he hung out with and did whatever he did without wearing a mask, right? And so now you contact trace and find out who all those people are, and all of those people have to self-isolate.
Correct.
And so, I mean, so if Mike Pence is one of those people, and today is the 2nd, and the debate you say is in 7 days, then, I mean, not that they can't still have the debate, but it would have to be a virtual debate, right? I mean, to bring Mike Pence in a room with Kamala Harris is dangerous now, isn't it?
Correct. And that's what they were looking at, either postponing Trump's next debate. They're looking at him doing it virtually on Zoom, which everybody is in favor for that because on Zoom, you have the ability to mute his mic. That was good, Vince.
That's funny. That's right. Oh gosh. Well, so that's, I mean, so it's interesting. And so I'm gonna pay attention to see. Oh, that means I gotta read and watch the news. Oh God, not interested in doing that. But
Eric,
I will. Yep.
Sometimes you have to watch the news just to get the forecast.
I do. You know what? All of it to me, as well as some of the. I was talking to somebody about this earlier. Between the news, the Facebook, the stuff that's in the Facebook feeds, everything, it's all toxic, right? And trying to exorcise these demons. I kind of feel like that priest in The Exorcist. Remember the priest, the old guy. I feel like that, man. So I'm like at the end of the day, like I find myself leaning up against a wall, just going, oh my gosh, I gave it my best shot, and then I gotta, try to, re-energize and then go back at it again. And so adding these news channels to my day would just kind of push me over the edge, I think.
Well, it does, but we are in the actual business of media.
Yes, we are.
And one of the things that we have to do is look at both sides. I mean, as much as I hate to turn to and listen to Tucker Carlson and a few other people on Fox, I have to actually look at it because I believe that a broken watch is 100% accurate twice a day. So I'm looking for the accuracy and the truth in what they're saying on both ends. So, yeah, and believe me, like a lot of Americans today, I am exhausted with news that comes up with the word Donald Trump. I'm exhausted with looking looking at the count. Oh, by the way, New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut have now went up 12% in people contracting the virus. And they're at the point now where they're opening up restaurants at full capacity.
Now, wait a minute. So, wait. I was it yesterday? I don't remember who I was on the phone with. And they were saying that if the numbers in New Jersey went up, then Murphy was gonna. I don't know whether it was just the numbers throughout just general New Jersey, or whether it was the numbers. Yeah, I guess it was the numbers in New Jersey that he was gonna shut the schools down.
The schools are shut down. There are majority of the schools are shut down, which is a whole nother subject, because I can tell you for a point some of the difficulties that my wife is having virtually teaching. In fact, you can hear her screaming in the background of me doing the show. But if the numbers consistently go up, to quash it, okay, he's going to have to shut down the state again. Not just the schools, the state. So if people aren't on point right now, and one of the biggest things that we've been talking about on this show is that they have to wear a mask. I mean, truly. But people are so, self-absorbed and self-involved that they cannot do that to not only protect themselves, but the rest of the state. That's what we are looking at. We're looking at the point of him actually having to shut down the state again. And we're talking about Murphy, who, by all accounts, from some other governors, have been making a lot of the right moves. In fact, it's to the point right now where grocery stores are now gearing up for the second wave.
Oh, and I noticed that, man. You go in some of these stores, you can't find the stuff again. Right? I go into Costco and they never have paper towels.
Once again, paper towels. You look at right now, a lot of people who are selling masks and that are selling them at $2 a mask now are running out. You're looking at the people now beginning to start to hoard, people who are smart. Again, because they're preparing themselves for this shutdown. So you're looking at mail-in, and which brings us to another point. The mail-in ballot may be the biggest game changer of this election. Or people asymptomatic going out to vote.
Oh my gosh. How many more, what is it, 20, how many days left?
I think we're at
31 days. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're looking at a fundamental, we're looking at, and I can't say it enough, the biggest, and people can agree with me or not, but the biggest issue that we have, and I hate to rehash the past, the biggest issue that we have right now with us, with 5% of the world's population and 20% of the world's deaths, is the simple fact of leadership. If that was established from the beginning, we would not be in here. We would not have over 200,000 people dead, which African Americans are the largest percentage of. And we're now facing that again, where African Americans are, quote unquote, the necessity workers, who are still doing, just got elevation during the virus to $15 an hour, putting their lives at risk. If there's not a reason to vote, vote for Biden, there is a big reason to vote against Trump. Now, everybody's waiting to see right now with him contracting the virus, will he make some fundamental changes? And he hasn't. The only thing that he did was isolate. And in fact, some people said that they had to force him to do that. He is now looking at the simple fact that now there is a larger group of Republicans who have told him to his face that they will no longer support him. We are looking at a fundamental change in America as we know it today. And people were talking talking about getting back to the norm. No, because we got Black Americans saying that no, we need a new norm. We're not getting back to that racist, white supremacy mentality of American government. We're not getting back to being an essential worker and still making minimum wage. We're not getting back to poor education and then hurting our children back in there so that they can be contractors of it or spreaders of it. No. I'm not going back to that world just like my grandfather said. I ain't going back to slavery.
You know, I gotta say, because, well, today is the 2nd, but yesterday we didn't do the show, so I didn't get an opportunity to openly wish former President Jimmy Carter a happy 96th birthday. So I want to move off the topic of...
Oh, yeah, and Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter being the oldest president.
96, man.
Mm-hmm.
96 years old.
Still building houses and jogging.
Yeah. Think he's going to make 100?
I think so. The worst thing about it is that they just released the tapes of Ronald Reagan when he was running against Carter, made an agreement with the Iranians to hold the hostages until after the election.
Hey, listen, man. Politics are dirty. Politics are dirty.
Yeah.
On both sides, though. On both sides. They're dirty on both sides.
See, my dad said the problem with the rat race is that the rats are winning.
Always. Always. You know. But listen. Go ahead.
To answer Darren's question, when we talked about it, no, Darren, I'm a firm believer right now that we need to follow the lead of the black women.
That was Mike Spruill.
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been saying this a lot. If it wasn't for the black women, the black men would have been extinct by the 70s.
Yeah.
And Jody was right when she said, we got to do this, and we're not drinking a Kool-Aid because we need to save us. That's why they're winning in the polls. That's why they're winning in the polls. And by the way,
see, I got a different opinion. I got a different opinion about it, but I told you I'm biting my tongue because I'm newly engaged, right? So I'm not trying to.
That's right. Watch that, Eric.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to create no. Hey, wait a minute, Jody. I'm not trying to break up no happy home that I'm trying to build.
I'm not trying to break up my happy home before I even build my happy home.
Yeah, man. So I was
waiting for him to say one thing off.
I'm not opening my Jody. I'm not opening my mouth. I let y'all have that whole conversation.
But politically, right now, I'm feeling it right now politically. If anybody who is an undecided voter is a person who is right now facing denial, and we have to get over that to win.
Yeah.
And we're not winning just to get this person elected. We want to win so that we can get that fundamental change that we need.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, I am I don't know how much. I don't know that I can go 31 more days talking about it. I mean, I'll do my best.
Well, I'd rather push through this next 31 days, brother, than to do another 4 years of what we're experiencing right now. Especially if it's
Eric, some of your responses are so hysterical. You just said,
I'm telling you. I am. Look.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, I am so. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so in a space of just being jaded around, about all of this, at this national level, and like Diane said, even looking at our state and, county races where folks just don't feel the need to engage the electorate. They don't feel the need to mail anything out, to come knock on a door and talk to you. They just believe that they just have the election. It's sad because I'm looking and saying nothing is gonna change. Nothing. Not one single thing. Well, that's not, it's gonna get worse. But it's not. It's not gonna get better. It's gonna get worse. Yeah. So.
You know what I think of it, even though you don't want to admit it, because you're on that other side where you just can't get past the lack of fight and excitement. It is fatigue. Whether you recognize it or you want to admit it or not, Donald Trump is exhausting. Every day there's something new. It is and for the next 30 days, I think you're just going to be totally exhausted, Eric, because I think as we get closer, his behavior is going to get more erratic. We're going to see, news cycles are going to be crazy. I don't think that it's going to get better. I don't think that it's even going to get better if Joe Biden wins the election. I'm not expecting any change. I'm not looking for even to calm down. I think it would continue. He will continue to spiral. I think regardless of what happens in this election, we're going to be tired for a long time from just this. It's not normal. It's just not normal. None of this, at least for me, is normal. So I do want to close my eyes and it be November 4th and it all be over.
Yeah.
But that's unrealistic. And I think that's unrealistic for us to even think it's going to be over when it's over.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, the sun is coming out. I'm happy to see that. We're at 11:57, and I'm watching the clock closely because I got to get out of here and get up to the hospital, get my shot of B12 so I can get my energy level up.
You guys have a good weekend.
Jody, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. And, I avoided talking about the thread that you and I are both in, but hopefully we can,
Get to that, yes.
Yeah.
Not important, but I was following your lead.
Yeah. We got to keep going on that. Just get a real understanding of terminology, right?
Right.
So
right.
yeah, I think that's where. Yeah. Well, anyway, this is inside conversation, guys. But get in the threads and you'll see what we're talking about. Vincent, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you. And I don't know if Diane's still on the phone, but Diane, you have a great weekend. If you're not, and come visit us at the farmers markets. We're doing 3 farmers markets and a festival this weekend. Jody, if you're still on the line, I keep telling these folks to mail you stuff. I got your address. If it hasn't gotten mailed, it's not because I haven't told them to mail it, because we're trying to figure out how to mail, and the only way we can do it is actually put it in the mail. So I've asked them to do that. So hopefully they will do that. But with that, Vincent, man, sign us off, bro.
We've been on this show for ever. In fact, since I remember the show that we did in February, talking to people about the truth of this virus, the truth in what we see in this election. And as we said earlier, God has a sense of humor. The man who said that this virus would go away and that it was a hoax has now contracted it. God has a sense of humor. For those who have been going around preaching about not wearing a mask are now silent on all of our social media feeds. God has a sense of humor. Because more and more, as people put fake facts out, something presents itself to show in everybody's face what's true. Now, with that, I like to say, as we always say, wear your mask, wash your hands, keep your distance. In fact, 6 feet should be the minimum. Now we should be pushing for 10 feet. And above all, Search the source of all of this fake media. Tell every young black person that you know about what's been fake in the media that they have been falling a victim of. And get them to stop drinking the Kool-Aid, but drink something that is going to help us. And of course, let's get rid of this in this election. Let's look down ballot and vote out these do-nothing Democrats that have been plaguing our society, oppressing us in terms of work and forward movement, and making our kids graduate with high school diplomas and not being able to read at a 5th grade level. Let us now push for building back better. I'm Vincent Squire on behalf of Jody, the Queen of Statistics, and Mike, great hearing from you too, and Diane, the Queen of Media, and Eric, the King of Cobbler. I like to say, if it's God's will, we'll be back tomorrow to give you...
No, we won't be back tomorrow, Vincent.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll be back Monday.
We'll be back Monday. Oh, we won't be back tomorrow. Eric will be asleep.
We'll be back Monday.
Yes.
To give you the truth and talk about the points in our lives and the things that are affecting us the greatest. God bless everyone. Be safe.